Welcome to Legal Keys, unlocking time, revenue, and results. The podcast that connects you with the people, technologies, and trending topics shaping the modern legal landscape. From cutting-edge AI innovations to high-growth marketing strategies and everything in between. Legal Keys is your go-to resource for actionable insights. Brought to you by Faster Outcomes and hosted by Tim Sawyer, two-time Inc. 500 co-founder entrepreneur. We're here to help you navigate the tools and trends driving success in today's legal world.
Welcome to Legal Keys. Today is Season 2, Episode 27, and we have an incredible guest teed up for you today. My friend, she's an amazing family lawyer. We're going to get into her bio more in a second. First of all, we want to say thank you to our sponsors. Faster Outcomes. Faster Outcomes is the ultimate AI-powered legal intelligence solution for law firms and lawyers of all shapes and sizes. And with that said, I cannot wait to introduce the guest that I have today. And I want to make sure I get it right. So today's guest is Aidan Welsh. She's a partner at Schoonmaker, George, Blomberg, and
Welsh. It's a mouthful.
Am I saying that right? Brinska and Welsh, one of Connecticut's leading law firms. Aidan is a fellow of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers and a recognized leader in the family law community, having served in leadership roles with both the AAML and the Connecticut Bar Association Family Law Section. She has built a reputation handling sophisticated family law matters. She's in a great part of the country, and we'll let her talk about that, for getting really big, sophisticated family law matters I can only imagine outside of Stanford. Financial disputes, complex assets, mental health issues, and high conflict litigation. She's also become one of the more forward-thinking voices in the country when it comes to the practical use of AI in family law. I've seen Aidan speak. She is absolutely unbelievable and a showstopper, not just from an efficiency standpoint, but from the perspective of improving client service, communication, workflows, and the overall delivery of legal services. With that said, Aidan,
well, thank you for having me, Tim. I sound wonderful, so let's get going.
So one of the things so you and I met a couple times, but we met at the last time, I think it was the Connecticut Bar Association, AAML. So let's start here. What is it that attracted you to family law in the first place?
A few different reasons. My parents got divorced when I was 14. And I was a little bit part of that process at that time. So I got to see it play out within my family unit and went to college, studied criminal justice and psychology, then went to law school. And I was just drawn to working with people. And I care very deeply about individuals, families, children. And it was just really a natural fit to be able to work with individuals as opposed to corporations or companies. And I just wanted to make a difference. So that's kind of what drew me to family law, even though I didn't know exactly what it meant when I started, but it turned out to be the perfect fit for me. So.
Well, my outside observer's viewpoint would be criminal law, psychology would probably be pretty big part of, and not that people are nefarious in family law cases, but certainly not everyone's coming out with everything.
I have 0 degrees in therapy other than a BA, which counts for nothing. But I spend my day helping people through their problems with no degree. But the benefit compared to my sister, who's a psychologist, as a lawyer, I get to then tell them what to do, which is helpful. But yes, family law is one of those practices that takes into consideration in all different forms of law, whether it's real estate, trust and estates, criminal law, tax, you name it. So it is a field that is incredibly interesting, complex, and you're never bored because everything looks a little bit different, which is just, I have found something that keeps me fascinated while dealing with people and helping people through their issues and problems.
So what was the journey? So you get out of law school, did you go work for somebody else for a little bit, and now you're a partner?
I was incredibly fortunate to have almost accidentally interviewed with the top law firm in Connecticut that does family law by absolute happenstance. A friend of mine had summered at Schoonmaker, George. She wasn't taking the role, knew I was interested in family law, and set me up with Cindy George, who was our managing partner at the time. And I went to an interview about 2 weeks before the bar exam. And on my drive back home from Greenwich to West Hartford, where UConn Law is, they made me an offer. And I've been here ever since. It'll be 20 years come August.
Amen. That feels a little unique.
It definitely does. I think people bounce around a lot, finding out where they fit. But I found my people here. Family law is a challenging field intellectually, emotionally, but I have found the people that I enjoy working with and bring out the best in me. And, this is home. Yes.
And partner
Yeah.
at a
No,
young
we,
age.
we at
Look
our
at you.
Schoonmaker George really tried to grow our young associates to become partners. That's what we want. So we try to give them that experience early, get them meeting clients, get them in front of a judge, kind of homegrown, right? We can turn them into what we want them to be. So that's kind of how I was led up the track. And that's what we do with the individuals below me, which is really wonderful experience.
And in your part of the country, I assume some of these you're not too far from New York City, so you've got that Greenwich crowd that you probably get everything from hedge fund to, you know, what are the typical cases like that you're
Yeah,
working
we're
on
an
now, or is
incredible
it
part of the
everywhere?
country to practice family law and for it to be a lucrative and meaningful career. I'm in Fairfield County, Connecticut, so our office is in Greenwich. And I mean, I've got cases where I represent the private equity owner, the hedge fund owner, the captains of industries. Sometimes they're celebrities. Sometimes it's the stay-at-home mom or dad, but they're usually generally quite complex financial issues given the wealth or income that's coming into the family living in these affluent communities, or they've got really complex custody issues. We are finding a lot of cases. I mean, I was just making a comment the other day that 80% of the cases that I'm working on now have some significant substance abuse issue or mental health issue, which is really different. There's always those cases, but there's been more and more. So I think my breadth of working on those types of cases has increased over the last several years. So at our office, we're dealing with the complex issues that are coming up. Trust fund babies, people with enormous family wealth, you name it, we deal with it all.
And that network, Aidan, how did you grow that network over time? Was it organic? In other words, primarily referral? What was the motion for
Sure.
you
So
to build
definitely
to where you
part
are now?
organics and then definitely part by purpose at the same time. I mean, I was brought up with my partners here that you get involved first and foremost. Join your local bar associations, get involved in profits in your area, meet the people that are in the communities that you were working in. So there was always that interest. And it was natural for me. I like to be a leader. I find it easier to talk to people when I'm in charge. And I like that a little bit. So I did all of that. I certainly pursued a role through our Connecticut Bar Association. I'm a past chair of our family law section. And then in 2019, I joined the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. That is probably the preeminent family law organization. There's about 1,500 of us across the nation of top family lawyers. I joined that organization and quickly worked my way into leadership roles within that organization. And I have found that by doing that, I've really expanded my network of lawyers, professionals, clients. I mean, to be able to sit in a new consultation with a client. Tim, you came to see me and you're like, Aidan, my father's got a trust that's set up in Nevada. I don't really understand what it means. I'm saying, Tim, hold on one second. Let me call my buddy Joe over in Nevada while we're sitting here. And I pick up the phone and we have this conversation about something that's concerning you. And in a matter of minutes, I've got your answer for you. It's a powerful network of people. And then generally clients are the best referral sources, doing a great job for a client, making them know you care. Other professionals that have same clients that I do, trust and estate lawyers, therapists, tax lawyers, real estate lawyers, that sort of thing has really helped me grow my practice.
So there's a lot of interconnectivity when you're in a leadership role, right? So I assume lawyers who aren't, family law is not their thing. There's got to be a pretty good referral network that you're building as you're establishing relationships with these
Absolutely. And
folks,
then, like I said earlier,
right?
family law touches so many other aspects of law that I'm constantly having to talk to other experts in different fields, like know what you know and know what you don't know, sort of thing. And don't be shy about picking up
Yeah.
the phone and learning more. I'm a constant learner of information. I mean, every day I am learning something new that increases my intellect, what I can provide to my clients.
It's funny. We actually have a growing constituency within my own business of child custody evaluators, folks who are actually going out and doing that analysis, working with the coaches and the kids and the psychiatrists and all that, and reporting back on custody matters using
We
AI to
need
do
more
that.
and more of that. That's definitely a field
Incidentally, I
that
thought that
is
was
less and less people want to get into, or at least to do in the family law field, because you're not often liked once you take a position on certain things, especially about children. But yeah, we work with that. Custody
yeah,
professionals like that all the time, child psychologists, child forensic psychologists, really important partners in what I do.
yeah. I learned a lot from that. And so as it relates to your leadership roles, what's next for you on the leadership ladder? Is there a particular role that you're
That is a
coming into
great
anytime
question.
soon? Or?
I'll tell you what I definitely know and what I'm thinking about. In about 2 weeks, I'm going to become the president of the Connecticut chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. So that is wonderful. That's a 1-year position where I'm in charge of our
Congratulations.
chapter. What I want to do with that is really grow the presence of who the Academy is in Connecticut. Nationally, it's incredibly well known and highly thought of. I want to bring that back. That's what it used to be in Connecticut, and it's changed over the years for a variety of reasons, but I really want to bring back that level of eliteness and authority that the Academy really should have. So I'm definitely doing that. I'm also in some leadership roles with the National Academy. I'm chairing the National Family Law Conference. If this is published and anyone wants to go, it's at the end of June in Vegas, so it should be totally fun. Yes, you will be
We'll be
there.
there.
Come to my trivia contest that I'm doing on Friday. And so that's wonderful. I'm on the National Test Committee, so I'm really going to be influential in how people join the Academy. And I think really it's next steps how far do I want to go up that ladder for the national? So I still got 2 kids at home, so I'm still trying to figure out, am I trying to run away from them a little bit more now that they're teenagers, or should I stick around and wait for them to go to college? So jury's still out on that one. I'll report back. Yeah,
Good for you. Good for you. Maybe you got
exactly.
to temper your ambition a smidge. We'll see.
I'm
I
someone who
doubt
raises
it,
their
but you
hand all
can
the
show.
time.
So I want to talk a little bit about the AI and family law, but let's start with family law in general. So one of the things, and we were half joking about this, uh, as someone who is involved in the AI community in family law, a lot of times people say, "Hey, Tim, what can your firm do for me?" And I'll say, "Well, it depends." And it's a joke, but not. I'll say, "Do you want to be more efficient or less efficient?" And they know the question, right? And so this is a nice lead into what are your thoughts around the billable hour? So if you could take something that takes 10 hours and now it takes 10 minutes, talk about the evolution of the billable hour over the next 3 to 5 years and how you see, increase in AI usage impacting that. Is that gonna come to a little bit of friction between the
Yeah.
client? Who's gonna drive that?
All in my world. I mean, we are so busy in this area of family law. And I think that's true of all practitioners. The pace at which we work these days is intense. The email traffic, the data that is coming in from discovery, the motions that are coming in, it is insane. We can't keep up with it. So I don't think AI and the use of it is going to detract from how much I can bill a year, right? I think I'm going to still be able to bill my minimum billable hour requirements, bring in the same amount of money. I don't think that's going to change at all. I think to your question about the clients, that's probably the biggest. And so I think it's going to be an efficiency saver so I can use my time better on strategy and thinking ahead as opposed to being reactive because we're so busy right now. So that's going to hopefully be miraculous and make me less stressed and less intense about things and more strategic, right? That's how I think it's going to affect lawyers' practice. The clients, yeah, they might want to know why we took 15 hours to review a whole bunch of tax returns and credit card statements and make our own summaries. That's what we used to do, right? Well, why didn't I feed that through AI? That could have done it in, 20 minutes. I think we're going to see that a lot more. Once the clients understand the capabilities of AI and how we can process their data and information faster if we use it, we're going to get pushback. It's not here yet. I think it's coming. I think we got to be ready for that. But we're almost so busy right now. It's like either not looking at the document or you are. It's that choice. So I think that's coming and we have to figure that out. I also think our clients are using AI. I mean, I had someone send me an AI parenting plan the other day. And I was like, well, thanks for doing my job. Let me take a look at it and I'll call you back later. So I think we got to be ready for that. Self-represented parties are filing pleadings after pleadings after pleadings and burying us in paperwork. So I think the judiciary and our court rules have to catch up with that. So it's going to be interesting. Hold on.
So I want to share with you, I won't mention his name, but the large law firm, 40 lawyers, and he made a wholesale adjustment in his strategy, family law. And his strategy was he was handling higher end cases and he went more, I don't know the correct terms
Yep.
y'all use, but middle market, right? So he's not chasing hedge fund cases. And he literally publishes his rates, their fixed rates on the website and says, this is what this divorce cost or whatever mapping is. This is what this costs. And he said, I've never been so busy in my life. And he's compelled. He came to us because he was compelled. He's like, I cannot meet the human demand to process these cases. So in his case, AI was so important for exactly this reason you just mentioned, efficiency, right? Combing through just reams and reams and reams of data and financial information. So that was kind of like a real aggressive answer to it. We'll see how it plays out. But I hear it more like you said, from the concern is from the consumer side that they're home lawyering, right? And they think, oh, they've named their agent that they're using inside Claude or ChatGPT, and they're going to go fight Aidan Welsh, with ChatGPT.
Self-representatives were hard beforehand.
I'm
It's
sure it's
going to
exhausting
be
for you.
interesting. So, but we gotta use our
Yeah,
leadership, I think, to get to the
it'll be
judiciary,
interesting.
to get to the people that make the rules, so we can be protected as lawyers. We gotta watch our backs as we learn how.
Is there still a lot of
In terms of
ambiguity around it in terms of the judiciary? Are they, where are they at on all this? Because they're
yeah,
seeing the end
they're just
out.
starting to dabble with it. I mean, the only rules we have where I am in Connecticut is that if a litigant uses AI, like a self-represented person, they have to certify that they've checked all of these citations to cases. So they got to do an extra certification. That's it. That's our only rule as it relates to anything right now. So we got a long way to go.
I think that's where
Yes.
the catching up needs
Yeah.
to
It's
happen.
education.
So, all right, next, for those people who are like, what the hell? I'm a family lawyer. I can't figure out how to use AI. Do a little bit with ChatGPT. De-identify, anonymize all the brain damage that we have to go through to use those open sources. How are you in your law firm, you and your team, using AI? What are some of the top use cases that you're doing and the biggest
So I would
benefits
say
that
at a
you're
high
seeing?
level, if it's an assignment I was going to ask an associate to do, so someone with less experience than me a little bit, AI can do that for me. Whatever that assignment is, whether that is drafting a letter to opposing counsel, making an asset summary, doing deposition preparation, crafting an outline for cross-examination or direct examination, writing a closing, it can do all of those things. And I'm using it to do all of those things. And like, I have a deposition tomorrow. Don't tell my client. I don't know when this is going to air. But literally, I've used Faster Outcomes, your sponsor, and I've uploaded the entire file in this closed universe where I feel safe that my client's data is protected and confidential, plugged in our statutory factors for alimony, which is what this post-judgment case is all about. And I told him my kind of general theory of the case, and it has crafted me a deposition outline. It's a starting point. It's even probably 80% there. It then needs my thought process around it, but it told me exactly what I'm trying to prove and how to prove it and why I was proving it. I was impressed. It was a top level associate. Well done, and saved me hours. So I'm using it for really anything and everything. Looking at discovery, inventorying discovery, trial prep, depot prep, organizing notes, really anything you can imagine that you do in family law that needs to be produced, written production, you can use AI for.
And what would you say, we all spend a lot of time traveling. You're in a leadership role, you're talking to people all the time. How are you processing what the skeptics say this moment that I had watching you speak? I had no idea what you were going to say, so I was just in the room. And when you were sharing use cases for AI and what you were able to do, and you worked through, hey, something as simple as, not simple, but as tedious as financial summaries, and then you got into some litigation, it was palpable. You could feel it in the room that the people were almost like questioning their identity. They're like, wait, how is that? And some
Thought
were
about
mad.
retirement, and the other half been like, whoa, I'm way behind. I'm not going to catch up. And then there's a few in between.
They were like, this lady's a freaking genius. And it was like an identity crisis. You could see it was like, ah, shit. Yeah, like they were genuinely concerned. And, but that a lot of those folks are still in the skeptic camp, right? Well, how is this possible? How is this true? There's no way AI can be relied upon for anything other than creating a recipe or directions, right? So speak to that a little bit.
So
What
it's
would you say to those
for
folks?
me, it's like the verify, right? Which is kind of true of how I treat my associates at work too. I'm not going to just take a fourth level associate's brief that they've written for me and not read it, right? And go over it. I don't sign it blindly under my name and hand it into the court. Why would I do that with AI either, right now? So, I think they're going to fall behind. I mean, what I'd be telling them is if you don't, have faith in this and experiment with it, you're going to fall behind quick and you're going to lose those clients because you're not going to be able to keep up. We can't even keep up now, let alone we all start using AI, what it's going to do with all of this. So, no different than 5 years ago. I made a joke at my last conference about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'm teaching people how to use Zoom. and the skeptics about remote depositions and remote hearings. The amount of arguments we got in about whether that should be permitted is insane now from where we are. So lean in. It's coming whether you like it or not. Learn how to use it. Learn what needs to be verified. Find the good programs that work for you. And frankly, just scare them that they're going to be left behind if they don't figure it out. Is usually my approach.
Now, so the other thing is, I'm curious because not everyone, it's almost like you have a predisposition to intellectual curiosity. I can tell, right? So you're attracted, you said you get a little something out of being in leadership. You like that. And, right, you
Know
like
what you're
the
talking
power
about, Tim.
dynamic, which is cool. But you're also very innovative. And so it's almost like you have a predisposition. And as you expand AI, even inside your own firm, I'm sure there's folks who push back, right? And how are you as a leader dealing with that change management inside your own firm?
Energy and positivity. I mean, that's probably how I effectuate change for anything that we're talking about. It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. That's no different with technology, and even more so, is just try it out. Right? If you're scared about using it for the workplace, I'm encouraging my partners to do it for personal. Plan your next trip using AI. Learn how it can be used in a way that's less scary for you. And then all of a sudden, right, it feels more comfortable, right? You have a conflict with a friend. Talk with it. What's it going to, give you some suggestions. And all of a sudden you gain confidence in its ability. And as you continue to talk with it and use it, it's gaining more knowledge. That's how I started it. And then I feel that much more comfortable using it in a professional setting. So I just kind of push them. I give them examples of what's working, where it's really helping me. As I said before, a little fear that they're going to really fall behind. It gives them a little nudge in the right direction.
And in terms of prompting, I think people sometimes underestimate how important it is to have great, solid prompts in business workflows. And are you coaching them on that? I would think that's probably where some of the training
that's
needs
essential,
to come in.
Right? I still want to learn stuff. I gobble up everything that I see on the internet about good prompts, and I try to use it in my work, and I see the difference every time I do that. But telling it who I am, right? I'm an experienced divorce lawyer, and I'm going to do this deposition tomorrow, and here are the issues in the case, right? And I have this difficult judge that always is critical about A, B, or C. I'm giving it the background it needs, and then I'll filter through things a few times through it too. If it creates depo prep for me, I'll then say, okay, now reorganize it based on these 4 themes, or what you're finding to be the most important factors in it, reorganize it now. So learning how to prompt, both in terms of giving it the background it needs to answer the questions, and then trying different things out. But the more you can read about prompting, it can be crucial to the data that you get spit out.
So I actually had someone tell me the other day in a public forum that using AI made you dumber because and she was explaining her pseudoscience around if you rely on something for too long, you'll get atrophy, whether it's in your brain or your hand or whatever. But do you have diminished capacity by using more AI?
No, I mean, look, do I get the hesitancy that you can become reliant on something? Right? Like I'm preparing something. Am I not getting my intellectual creativity, right, as fired up as I normally would, let's say, preparing a closing argument if I'm using AI? I get that theory or that concept, but find myself getting more jazzed and more excited about it. I've got this thought or this concept that I can't clearly articulate for some reason because I'm so deep into the facts and care about the client that it's allowing me to kind of expand my creativity, in ways. So pish posh on that. I think play around with it more. I don't know. I feel like I've learned more about all sorts of different industries, technology myself, the people that I work with by using AI. I mean, I've just kind of expanded my intellectual breadth.
So, Aidan, obviously you're in leadership, you get how this goes, and you're leading on multiple fronts, right? You're helping people embrace technology, multiple forms of technology. You're a leader in AI for sure, which is definitely having an impact. What advice, whether someone is 3 years into being, right out of law school, or someone is literally like you, managing a firm, what advice do you have for the modern family law practice to intelligently, intentionally, and profitably implement AI in the firm? What would be like the 2 or 3
Well, from a high
things you would
level,
say?
I'd say have intellectual curiosity. I mean, try things out, right? Don't be afraid. Lean into it. Figure out what works best for you and your team. And then really think about strategically what is getting your team bogged down, right? What is a tedious task? What is taking too much time? What can you not even get to? What are all those different things? And then figure out kind of which AI tools that exist out there, whether it's multiple ones or one in particular, can help you with that. Because I think that's going to make us less stressed. Like, family law practice is crazy busy and intense right now and stressful. Like, this is going to make it easier on us. It's going to reinvigorate us, get me be more efficient about things. We're still going to make the same amount of money because we're going to be doing higher level thinking. It's a matter of like, what are we going to do with that extra time now? Right? How am I going to think more strategically about the case as opposed to doing, okay, step 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm thinking bigger picture. How do I get this done for my client better, faster, with more connection with them? So,
Well, and that's, I think, at the core of it, right? It's better advocacy because you're not
yeah,
bogged down in the minutia, right? As we all know, it is very difficult to put glasses on and go through 90,000 rows of, Bank of America statements and then be like, okay, economic abuse. What's the theory of economic abuse? And then apply that, right?
you
It's
can
it's
get
not
right to
everybody
that,
can
your
toggle
theory of the
between
case,
those.
much faster. But it's totally not fair that I had to go through all those bank statements or reams and reams of paper when I was younger in hard copy. So it's an
Make them
unfair
do it.
world now. But yes, I think we're going to be able to think bigger about cases, which is really exciting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, by the way, in the presidency. You're going to be amazing. And we'll be in Vegas. I'm sure you got some
Gonna
really
be
cool
fun.
stuff teed up for that. Anything else you want us to let you know about? If someone was watching this and they said, hey, can I send Aidan an email or ask a question or something? Where
Yes,
can they
I'd be more
locate
than
you?
happy to. As you can tell, I'm passionate about family law and about how technology and AI can really improve what we do for a living. So again, I'm at Schoonmaker George. We're in Old Greenwich, Connecticut. They certainly can reach out by email, awelsh@sgbfamilylaw.com. Happy to, talk all day about this stuff. I love it. So thanks for having me on, Tim.
And for our Connecticut lawyers that are going to be watching this, make sure they reach out, get involved in AAML, your
Yes,
chapter that you're going to
absolutely.
be running.
Join us and come to Vegas too. June 25th. National Family Law Conference put on by the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers. You don't have to be an experienced practitioner. You can be new or just interested in family law and where it's going. So it's going to be a real fun time. And we're going to have a big AI presentation there as well.
And we encourage you, come by the Faster Outcomes booth. As always, the podcast is brought to you by Faster Outcomes. And one of the things that I want to work on, Aidan, I haven't told you yet, spoiler alert, we have been getting requests from family lawyers to do a single day AI Power Summit in
I'm
person.
in. Well, if you're asking me, I'll join.
This is why I asked. We want to get some great speakers together, and folks really want to do it. And so we're going to be working on that. TBD. But thank you so much for joining us
Thanks,
today.
Tim.
Great
Fun as always.
conversation, as I knew it would be. Really appreciate it. Thank you.